kate kate para kate para som kate bodhi swaha daya dhan kate kate para som kate bodhi swaha daya dhan kate para kate para som kate bodhi swaha semje thamje도 토자라나 마치바 산제 공부하는 거 진짜 도바자 디체도는 가수로다 자주스베 저반나 추시도 나서 나와라 신고 신고 토가 저지 좀 많아 가지고도 내가 저 라면 주문이 삼삼세.
So let's set our motivation again to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment through perfecting all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings, I must be able to understand what they are about. To gain that understanding, I must be able to rely on an unmistaken text and unmistaken presentation. And with this in mind, I am here to listen to a teaching from the set of teachings known as the Graduated Path to Enlightenment teachings.
My eye leapt. Now, mom and dad giving eyes not working. 가서 Father's Day, Father's somebody else.
Ah, yeah, Father's Day.
다시 들래. 야, 무슨 가발렸다.
Gyatang Juni. Ni Gamdrogi Jangwani.
자주
Juni.
자주 중이라. 뭐좀 좀. 그래 다 가자. 어디 생겼다. 다들 남주나 시체나다. 소신 세다네. 언제 가서다 저. 자체 주제 상무다 주 냠내 지나 주바. 저도 처음에 맞춰서 근데 랑게 다 소신做的了 라마 통한도 창차 아니 뒤에다 랑게 최종 뭔도 걔는 자외 라마티 랑게 자외 라마 가지고 되게 자외 라마티 타고도 최종 뭔도 걔는 라마티가 권유에다 되네다 가서데 되네다 저거 규대시 저 라메 내줘주 주주 자주자 되네 계산해서 이제 동 개바디 되라 개바상도 이제 산제 동 아니 되네 가서데다 뉴세제 gel어서베네 가서데 장세는 좀 고아테가 되네 된 가서데 란게 되네 년도 되네 아니 가서 년도체 아니 되네 바오코도 주죠 숨바체 아니 디 라메 나데데 단도 자벨라마 처럼 라마 되다 고아테가 아니 또 규대시가 스타 상아도바 상아도바다 대조 직제 안되게 저는 긴고 라서되게 되어 삼사체는 바오코도 주죠 숨마스나 어떻게 전 세다 안되게 긴고 되게 그랬더니 소재되게 찾아야 뒤잖아 아니 가서 라마토한테 라마토에 도착한테 아니 젠더라는 게 집어들 빼받은 님의 다외도 젠더 어떻게 전 랑게 타고도 막 했으면 좀 유효성서 어떻게 저 공부하시고 어떻게
And so we set up our merit field as we normally do in the context of this text. And so the merit field then includes the main figure of the Guru Manindra Vajradhara at the very center, and surrounding them with the different tantric lineages, particular to the Guhya Samaj lineage, the Chakrasamvara lineage, the Yamataka lineage, and so on. And then with the indirectly in front of the main figure is the group of our own in the center, our own root guru, and then surrounded by all those lamas and gurus from which we have received teachings. And then to the left and right, the lineages of the profound view and the extensive practices And then also just in front of the main group of our own gurus, starting with the different classes of tantra, starting with the highest yoga or Anuttara Yoga Tantra, then the Yoga Tantric set, then the Kriya Tantric set, and then the Charya Tantric set, and then the Kriya Tantric set of all the different deities there associated with those different tantric classes. And then below them will be the all the Buddhas associated with the fortunate eons, such as the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 35 Buddhas of confession, and so on. And then the group of the great bodhisattvas, all the different bodhisattvas, the 8 close disciples of the Buddhas, and so on. And then from there, from the solitary realizer group, the hearers or Shravaka group of Buddhas, and then following them the arhats, then the dakas, dakinis, and the dharma protectors. So we have the entire Buddha field, merit field, all there. So visualizing that, and then subsuming all those objects of refuge into the main figure of the Guru Maninja Vajradhara, and then inviting Guru Maninja Vajradhara to our crown. And so we again at the crown, the Guru Maninja Vajradhara is surrounded by the different objects of refuge and all kinds of other sentient beings.
And cousin Dashu Casade, Chicasoda Tama to Jim Marato Koba Chatter, was a church Jum said, Corn and Tayachedo. Do it, dig it to me, do it to that, and then is a Chicasoda, Chicaso corn and Tanya, then it that thing it is to it was church you were Chuka. That the name is a Marazo, then the thing to give because you had them was a church you was a daddy. Marazo Lenin is once and comes on to our to give it into Marazo attend to tickets you maybe and Dele Tawach. That Zata shoot it. That Niason gave out the Kukakora Mavis and Niason Taya Shoto. That Niason Taya that get you in that I would sin. Because the church Jubala, church with 20 years Sansa could Niason, Kukakora Mavis, what in the Janta, Niason Makiva Kate, Catch and Tori Ketua. That Tori there and Koba chatted and Dele Tabatu. That Tawa Toba Yena Yang and Ranchigo. That Chicasoda, Dumela Tana, David let to a rete in a relative of Magassim Tamja, that call not the Dilatavan, Tamji Chemical much to be. Tamji Chemical Maton, Ranchi, you got to touch my sugar, teacher that church go good, Dimarwa. What I did was a cousin de la Tanka, Niajosum cake, going to get a tone and delay cake, got up chin. Dile might give a touch, I'll give a letter, doctor. Chizun lesa to massage in Yasola Tata. That did Yasola Taba de la Cargo Gressama. That Jamdu Namdash go over in some of that, and that Jamdu cut the liver. What is it?
So we first of all have to take into account that we are beings within what is known as cyclic existence, and that what we need to the objective for any kind of spiritual practice, in particular spiritual practice in the Buddhist tradition, is to really release oneself from that reality of cyclic existence, to gain liberation, what's known as liberation or nirvana. And so here we need to, and in order to do that, we need to really aim, and in the context of doing that, our aim is to gain happiness and to avoid suffering. And that this is all based on the causes that bring about happiness on the one hand, and the causes that bring about suffering, knowing them and working towards the happiness we want and avoiding the suffering we do not want. But we're looking at wanting to gain permanent happiness that is associated with that liberation from cyclic existence completely. And that here we have to acknowledge at the same time that even though we want that and we want to work towards that, we are very much hampered by, and on the one hand, our karma, the karmic imprints on our mind, and on the other, our mental afflictions, that these really hold us back. And so therefore, when it comes to focusing on what we must do in order to gain liberation from cyclic existence, we must gain liberation from this karma and these mental afflictions. This is most important. Now, we have been looking at the sufferings on the lower, what are called the lower realms, the possibilities of different births in cyclic existence, and there are three possibilities associated with what are called the lower realms. And so that we've been looking at how to avoid not how to avoid being born there and to being liberated from that possibilities. And so because it's important to understand that within the lower realms, not only are they inundated with horrific, harsh sufferings, but more damaging is that there is no opportunity to engage in spiritual practice in the lower realms. To be able to engage in spiritual practice, you need the conducive conditions, and those conditions are not available in the lower realms. And so to gain liberation from there is the first objective, to take what's known as a higher rebirth, which affords one the ability to be able to engage in spiritual practice, because some at least of the conducive conditions are there. But of course, that's still in cyclic existence, still in the nature of suffering. And so this is only an interim objective. What we must work towards is the kind of another objective of attaining liberation from cyclic existence completely. But we also know that just to do that for ourselves alone is not good enough, and so we gain this understanding of the entire collective of all sentient beings, and that because we're all in the same situation, we want to gain liberation for all sentient beings. And we finally reached the conclusion that in order to be able to do that, I must attain the state of enlightenment, the omniscient state of enlightenment, in order to lead all other kind mother sentient beings to that state. And so really that's why we engage in spiritual practice. This is the whole point behind it. And that now that we have just covered the three lower realms and looking at all the faults associated with those lower realms, the sufferings, the lack of opportunity and so on, and now here is the subject of refuge. And so it's in the initial context that a refuge from being born or reborn in the lower realms. And so then, with regard to this subject matter here is going to be dealt with in a slightly more extensive fashion than it was dealt with in the path known as the kind of quintessential instructions on the text known as the Path to Bliss. And so here it's going to be a little bit more detailed, and it begins with saying whatever we go for refuge in, there must be causes for going for refuge. So what are the reasons behind why we want refuge? And here they are enumerated as initially having this fear of the suffering of the lower realms in particular and cyclic existence in general. And secondly, the kind of conviction that the triple gem of Buddha, Dharma and Sangha have the capacity to protect us from that suffering. And so these are the main causes for going for refuge.
그러다 무슨 내발에 집어로 와. 알아서 나서나 지금 나기도나 아니 나자디 아니 지 가서데 교회한테 대 심받지. 다 나자디래 접투베게 아니 다 배는 멤버 개바지. 그러다 개바디 데리 접투에 누가 유바데 심바이나 아니 멤버디 제주에다 제주네 아니 지 나자다 잡답지 그러다. 지금 와다 그 조당도 집어래도 왔다. 가제가 나자들 집어 가제 치아 요바 수제 아니 매대다 암지대라 도나슈 차트 되지. 용거로 왔다. 딜레 개체 왔다. 코와다 년수도 동네서 딜레 자자와지로 와. 딜레 자자와다 디 교회 차상지 신바이나 아니 다 딜레 되나면도 탑매 되겠지. 아니 데데 내 접투근 게 아니 접 다지 가서다 천이 상계지 새 안체네 안들 잡수 줘야 지기로 왔다. 어떻게 조단도 집어지 버려도 어떻게 저 된데 용자 가서다 어떻게 저 그다음에 가서다 학생 가서다 디왈 학생 라과제에서 들려로서 시베 다냐래서 점점 뭐고 에티바 라닐 학벌 집어다 군조 교배 뉴덴도 셰레 중에 점조라 탐제 접하고 And
so that this image of having this recognition of a certain a fear, and then going to somebody who you feel can offer protection or solace or protection from that fear is very similar to when we're sick, for example, and that we very obviously can be aware of the discomfort, faults of that particular illness, and then we seek out a doctor, somebody who is expert in that particular illness, in order to be able to diagnose and then to give us the recommendations of what we should do. But medicine to rely on behavioral changes and so on in order to recover, in order to cure ourselves from that disease. And so when we have that sense of the understanding or the clarity with regard to what's wrong with us in terms of illness, and then somebody that we know we can trust to give us good advice on how to become better, to get better, and then we pay more attention to the whole process. And so here something that's far more important and far more crucial to us is to really avoid all the sufferings associated with the lower realms, and to develop a healthy fear of that sort of suffering. So this is our illness, and then we want to find some sort of refuge, some sort of protection from having to experience that kind of suffering. So, and we need to then make sure that we have fully qualified system or persons that we can rely on, that we can trust to protect us from that fear. So here it says in Losang Choki Gyaltsen's the melodious laughter of Losang Drakpa answers to questions on the whitest altruism of all. He says the true nature of taking refuge. Taking refuge because one is most afraid for oneself, and because one knows that the three jewels are able to protect. That is what is meant, omniscient one.
최군조선 딱 잡무이데 최군조. 최군조한테 잡무. 최군조한테 다른 거죠. 제가 저 배자다 된소. 다 최군조 그다 조자 디날 땡고 여자 거저 최군제 두시샤고 최군조 문에다 가려서나 다들 저 꼭대한다 남대 저 돈인 것은 더 배셔 가서 란 나라도 믿어배 동네 kan가지 가르쳐 놓고서 단지 머리 빨라 때는 연거 여자 아니 디 인연보디 다음에 또 배셔라 란교를 게 맞다 그 봐도 아니 모두는 동네 그 유튜브 대신 거 이거 인사 다 다음에 또 배셔라 다 다음에 것은 또 배셔라 때다 축구 좀 문에 다디 남시나 란교를 깨봐 내잖아 아니 동네 그 유튜브에 매바 찾고 와 매바 찾고 또 그래서 다음에 또 배셔라 때 잡고 어디 찾아요 어떻게 저 다 잡주배 진도 군조한테 잡주배 다도 다디 근데 다음에 또 배셔라 귤을 때문에 간사대 진도 군조스 다들 지금 가서 자바 이메일 다 미게다 자베 기자야만 술라 다음에 또 배셔라 귤을 되려나 디 진도 군조 찾아요 디 간사대 어디 나라서 잡주배 다 줬어 다 무슨 미게 다 사도 찾아요 봐 어떻게 저
And so here, in Buddhism, but not just in Buddhism, in fact, in many different spiritual traditions, there is this idea of refuge, of taking refuge, and so on. Here in the Buddhist tradition, we talk about taking refuge in the triple jewel or triple gem. This specifically refers to taking refuge in the Buddha, taking refuge in the Dharma, and taking refuge in the Sangha. And so taking refuge in the Buddha as the one who demonstrates refuge, who having practiced and assimilated and realized is speaking from experience. And so we take refuge in the Buddha as the one who's demonstrated all of that, who teaches refuge. And we take refuge in the Dharma because Dharma is the actual refuge. And here it specifically refers to, in the context of this subject matter, what are known as the path, the true cessation and true paths. And this refers to developing what's known as the wisdom realizing selflessness. And it's wisdom realizing selflessness which directly opposes what is known as the main cause of cyclic existence, which is the ignorance of grasping at a self-entity. And so since this is the root cause of all suffering, what the Dharma jewel really focuses on is to eradicate that root cause. Therefore, one is no longer creating the causes for suffering, and so this is extremely important. And then because without that, of course, we will just continue to continuously engage in actions that will create causes for continuous suffering. So that's the actual Dharma jewel. And then the Sangha jewel are all those who assist us in our spiritual practice, or who are examples for us in our spiritual practice. And they don't necessarily have to be ordained members of the Sangha, but they are those who offer us that example. And again, there's a kind of like a more specific meaning for all of these. When we speak about, for example, the Sangha jewel, it specifically refers to a person who has actually realized emptiness directly.
대접게 아니 최고조 지중하이 말이야. 란디 란 규된 가사 소소 아니 긴도 구조와 차이 말 대접 긴도 구조와 차. 아니 딘 로다 돈이 거서도 싫어 규라 대원도 답변은 대과 첨부잖아 택진 촬람스인데. 그거 고자 택진 촬람스가 사당보라 알려 그래. 다 되네 아니 고랑 꼬꼬디가 남술란다 사주 되게 심바시도 저와라 되네 라 남시나 산제 고마 톱도도 대접게 아니 산제 구조와서 차버려.
So, in the context of this subject of refuge, also we speak of the causal refuge and resultant refuge. And so, what has just been explained here as the Buddha as the one who demonstrates refuge or teaches refuge, the Dharma as the actual refuge, and the Sangha as those who assist or are exemplars of that refuge. This is in the context of what's known as causal refuge. And what the goal for us as practitioners is to really accomplish the resultant refuges. So that, for example, when we eventually practice through our own practice and through our realizing emptiness directly, we realize then the resultant refuge of the Dharma jewel. And because we have attained that particular realization, and that so it also simultaneously means that we have gone from a causal Sangha jewel refuge to a resultant Sangha jewel refuge, because we are a person who has that realization on their mind stream. So this, in when we look at the textual context for this, it means that we have of the 5 different paths to enlightenment, we have attained the path of seeing. So at that stage we have the resultant Dharma jewel, and we have resultant Sangha jewel, and then through the attainment of the path of seeing, and then through going through what are known as the 10 bodhisattva levels, through the path of meditation, we eventually reach the path of what's called no more learning. And that is simultaneous with enlightenment, and that is simultaneous also with our attainment of the resultant Buddha jewel. And so this way we move from the causal refuge jewels to the resultant refuge jewels.
근데 이제 가서 교잡 제어도 당보 산제 중 아니 산제 그 최소네 아니 최소네 아니 가서 다 가자 긴도 구조 가서 최구조 규라게 최구조 규라게도 아니 대규를 때문에 가서 긴도 구조하자 다 란규 공도 있잖아 당보 최구조하게 되네 최구조 규를 가서 긴도 구조하자 대 냠솔랑 wal때는 사줄랑 냠솔 다 그래서 고랑사 사줄라 소바다 냠솔랑 wal때는 라사제 고도 아니 대접기 가서 다 사제 구조 요구로 와.
And so that in terms of the causal refuge, it begins of course with the Buddha, who attained enlightenment and then taught the Dharma, and so that follows on from the Buddha, the Dharma causal refuge, and then those who practice that Dharma, the Sangha causal refuge. And say in the context of resultant refuge, we begin with the attainment of the Dharma jewel, and the resultant Dharma jewel by realizing emptiness directly and having that on our mind stream. And simultaneously we become the resultant Sangha jewel as well. And then following practice, as has been explained, we eventually attain the state of enlightenment and become the resultant Buddha jewel.
어디서라 what 셨다 근데 이 맞아 먼저 잠도대 아니 잠도들라 먼저 그 잠도 가서 저다 가자제 다 배는 잠도들라 가서다 다 잡수 줘야 될라 가서다 다 가자제 가서다 다다데 가서 다외 뭐 거다 저다 잡수다 대바들라 다외 대바 먼저 그 대바 아니 가세 다외 대바 먼저 그 대바들은 가서래 그래다 대바 이체게 대바 당에 대바 아니 원도 그 대바스다 라이트데 중나서 소리 딱데 로다 진짜 중나다 심지어 빠면 두고 이라 어디로
So that's accompanying when we talk about a refuge and going for a refuge as well. What is really key to the quality of that refuge is the degree of faith with which we go into that refuge. And we have the three types of faith in terms of the pure faith or manifest faith, or what is known as the faith of conviction, and that to be able to accompany our going for refuge with a combination of those kinds of faith is very important.
그렇죠. 다 근데 영화는 뒤 연대의 신고로 와. 연대 맛이 뭐 대바체와나 고몽대에서 차와라. 몽대 뒤 연대의 신배 돈은 아니 말한테 중나 삼사체는 용도다.
And so that of course in order to enhance the efficacy of the faith that we are talking about, we need to understand the good qualities, the benefits and qualities and so on around refuge and what it means. Otherwise we are simply using just blind faith, and this is not recommended, and that any faith that we generate must be based on reasoning. And so, for example, like the faith of manifest faith is that you have this conviction that I want to emulate what I'm going for refuge into the three jewels. I want to reach that state myself. I have the faith that I can do this, for example.
다 되게 균이 수입아 라지바 탐제를 제와 거의 녀소들 직과다 개발 녀소 두근에 직시 잡아 될래 주변도 봐 아니 가서 구조소리 누가 요바도 어디 시고도 와 어다들 얘네 답변에 잡도 봐 보잖아 다 규들할 때는 잡서 줘 유되는 라니 직과 탐제를 다 코란 직과 메케스 고도 와 직과 메케스 직과 탐제를 줘다 직과 탐제를 줘봐 잡으면 현 직과를 제가 털어 켜마치 야, 현 직과 털어 켜마지나 야, 심지어 탐제를 냐면 그래서 꾸나 투지치고 니리 매버지 매버이나 야, 거기다 또 가보요 와야. 가마가 되는 요거를 되나 꾸나 투지치고 니리 매버 주고. 아니 다가는 생 팬 따마다 탐제가 돼야 되게. 다 된대지 좋아 임바이나. 된대게 제바이나. 아니 잡 로아베 와서 차와. 잡 미루 와서 차와. 어떻게 보고요.
And so then, just to recap, we talked about two specific causes necessary for going for refuge. One is that we have this genuine fear of the sufferings of cyclic existence in general and the lower realms in particular. And then we have this sense of confidence in the triple gem, the three jewels, that they have the capacity to protect us from such suffering eventualities. And that here then we talk about, so what kind of a person should we go for refuge in? And that here it describes that person as one, that they have freed themselves from all fear of suffering with regards to themselves. Two is that they don't just leave it at that, but they also concentrate and they have expertise in freeing others from their fear of suffering. And three, it's very, very important that they are able to engage in those activities without any bias, and they work for the benefit of all, without discrimination, without any bias at all. And fourthly, they work for the benefit of others in every way possible, whether it brings benefit or not. So I said that if one has those characteristics, then they're an unmistaken object of refuge.
What did it call? That rangi jamsu dosa dila, and this sangudo sangudo jamsu doing Horang Hakova jet. That they have Mogavina, and jamdu de that Mondes Chagudua.
So it's very important that we analyze to see if the object to whom we are going for refuge has these qualities, is qualified in this way, and how complete are those qualities. If we just go for refuge without that knowledge, then really there's always going to be an element, greater or less, of blind faith in our refuge practice.
배는 차샤와나 뭐서 출로를 차바자고요나 아니 출로를 저거고요나 다 차바디 잡투근 게 배는 니도 뿌다고치 배는 니도 가셔 야보 매버이나 어디 차바 코토고 말해 디 야보 요 말했어 디케다 디 야보 요랬어 그래서 소소 하고에 돈에 아니 그 차베 동네를 잡투가서 물어봤다.
So it's like if you were going out in this rain, you know, you would want an umbrella to protect you, to give you refuge from the suffering of the rainfall. But then you'd want to have a good quality umbrella. You know, you wouldn't want to be able to take any old umbrella. You'd want to make sure that the umbrella that you take is going to do the job and to really give you the protection that you need when you go out in the rain. So it's really knowing this. Knowledge. So it's like you're in somebody's house and it's raining and you need to go out and there are 3 umbrellas there and you go to take one and the house owner says no, don't take that one, that's not a good umbrella, that won't protect you, you need to take this one, this is a better umbrella, and so you get the best quality protection.
딜레다 코웨 동네에 타로 어디에 잡대 딱딱 하고 왔지. 당고 코웨 동네 심바지. 양송고 동네 심바지. 딜레 잡게 잡서 저 위에 잡두에 누가 유명다. 디심에 돈은 잡서 거셔.
So here it's very simply that we need to have some sort of way of protecting ourselves from the suffering of cyclic existence, from the suffering of the lower realms. And so it's really a case of initially really understanding what the suffering of the cyclic existence is, what the suffering of the lower realms is, and gaining a knowledge of that. And then really gaining a knowledge of what is it that can offer me some protection from that suffering. So it's really informing oneself, very as accurately as one can, and being able to make a decision to go for refuge based on the knowledge that we have gained.
얘네야 산제 대주고 말아 산제 타야 같이 가서 산제가 연대 교육고세 연대 군대에서 같이 세르면도 이제 먼저 산제 이제 그 샤제 도와 인고고요 말이야 그래 다 가이네 다 단다들라 맞아 개바들라 산제 동지 배우면서 하는 단다 때마다 산제 샤제 도와 남들 시바 산제 샤제 도에 때문에 뒤수이면서 아니 말아서 용다기 루주 언제로 산제 슬란데 샤제 도와 고대기로 봐 됐어.
And so when we talk about Buddha, normally now in people's minds in general, what appears is that the historical Buddha of some 2,600 years ago, who lived in India, and that here in this world at this time, this is the Buddha that is known to us. But in fact, there are and have been and will be countless Buddhas, and that in the context of the Buddha we know as Shakyamuni Buddha, this Buddha who existed 2,600 years ago, he is the fourth in a line of 1,000 Buddhas associated with what is called this fortunate eon. And so here, this is when we talk about going for refuge, this is one of the Buddhas that we talk about going for refuge in.
But 개와 딜레 산제다 시전 사도와 먼저 용라기 루주고 산제 산제 코아지바 세도 외송 한다다 샤지도 봐. 다 마오바 산제 나바딜레 나바딜라 아니 지수 잡아고 배우러 와 잡아고 보자다. 뭐 엔다는 시들 막 방한테는 또도 다 산제 동지 배우 가서도 고주 배우러 와. 고주 배우러 와. 와다 개와 뒤에 온도 잡아래. 개와 뒤에 온. 다는 잠블링 배 지와 타자래. 잠블링 타래 되어 요래. 안디자 안 잠블링 셴라 양 안은 산제 다 뭐부여 되겠지.
So that in this eon that there have been already four Buddhas, with the fourth being Shakyamuni Buddha, then the third being Buddha Kashyapa, and then two other Buddhas before that, and the fifth of this fortunate eon will be the Buddha Maitreya. But then after that, there will be continuing on until 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. And this is kind of in the context of this kind of world system. But of course, Buddhas are countless, and there will be countless Buddhas associated with other world systems also.
아니 내년그 시험하지 이마도 못트네 아니 거에 자와 단지 머리 것이 대인이 뭐 담에 또 배셔라 곰네 아니 사줄 남가처럼 사제 고마도 다들 인자 아니 냠뇽게 되네 아니 다 송되게 차대고 다 줘야 되겠지.
And so the point being that Shakyamuni Buddha is not the only Buddha, but there are countless Buddhas. But they all, started out the same as we are now, the same as we are, under the influence and of karma and the mental afflictions. And they recognize that. They recognize the reality of their situation. They practice diligently. They were able to uproot the root cause of suffering, being the mental grasping at the true existence of a self-entity through perfecting the wisdom realizing emptiness. And they were able to proceed along what are known as the 5 grounds, or the 5 paths and the 10 grounds, and attain the state of enlightenment. And then they taught that Dharma from the experience that they gained, from their own personal experience. They taught the path.
산제 코나 샤도 산제면도 심바 요 말이스 데데데 산제 코나르스 아니 장고다 참조 장고스는 다가 온주치부 온주 남 남자 먹고 요 인사 아니 온주 장고스도 온주로 거대도 장고다 아니 참조 그러 참조 라소바 사천번 남라 연대대다 매나 다 된돌라 아니 연대대다 매버렸어 연대대다 대요 말이스 지다 나라줄 때 바이나다 저도 연대치고 싫어하네 시부진 누가 치고 요게 아니 지금 두수 뭐고 깨와 뭐고 캐두게 마음밖에 갈가서 셰두게 배는 지금 누가 치고 싶어요 되게 되네 그러다 다 배나다 남주 힌두 속에 되게 그 잡수 줘 다다다디 된줄라야 아니 되게 누가 매다 코나줘야 코아바 차되고 요래 코아바 차되고 요래 어떻게 아니 된줄라 매바이나 아니 다가니 시다 지금 가라주고 지금 롱베기 들어가서다 사실 이다다 롱다 이다도 주변에 다 시다서다 되면 스프리츠그래 왔다 시다다 아니 지금 룰라서 남라서 여바 따지고 다 된줄라 된데 연대 가봐 용거랬어 사제 연대도 가봐 용거스 매지고 되네나 군조솜다 치료배 때문이게 나네 군조솜 코나자서 증거스 다 되네 지금 문에다나 코알에 된데 타네 로아냐송라 타 되레 그저 왔다 가자죠 다저 가서래다 가자죠 지 코아다 겨우냐송다 냐송송다 코알에 타네 다 땡기 디기 되고 저나 다 잡수 줘서 주대다 가자죠 군조솜다 코날에 잡수 증여다 다 되레 잡수 증여 그랬어 뭐 증여 그래 아니 샬라티 증여 그 말에서 가서 통계도 생겨 요 말에서 뭐 쓰고요 어디죠
So that here, when we are looking for an object to whom we can go for refuge, they really we need to understand the kind of qualities that such an object has or needs to have. And so, as has been explained here, they are freed from any fear of suffering in terms of themselves. They are expert in being able to free others from their fear of suffering. They work for the benefit of others without bias, without discrimination, work for the benefit of all, and whether it is actually beneficial or not. And so here, these kinds of when we look into it, and in terms of spiritual teachers and so on, it's really only the Buddha who has all of these qualities without exception. Even with such great deities as Shiva, Vishnu, etc., and don't have these qualities, and that and let alone other candidates such as spirit beings or local deities, nagas, etc. How could they have such good qualities? They don't have. Why? Because all of the others that have been mentioned are still within cyclic existence. They are still hampered by karma and the mental afflictions. So even though within the Hindu tradition they go for refuge to the likes of Shiva and Vishnu and so on, from the Buddhist point of view, those beings are still hampered by being within cyclic existence. And so it's really when it comes to the choice between going for refuge to the external objects of refuge or going for refuge to the triple gem within Buddhism, one should choose only the triple gem to go for refuge in. Why? Because the objective here for ours is to become liberated from cyclic existence and the lower realms completely. We're looking for a definitive happiness, for permanent happiness. And so we need the refuge that is qualified to go to in order to be able to attain that sort of definitive and permanent happiness. And so that object of refuge needs to be qualified, fully qualified. And so that's why we go for refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
我的查到我的这里呢，告诉他大概这个教授主这个他用他这个我那阵呢，他把他们这整个都跟起码呢，教授主要有的马诺瓦切的开始模式，教授对就把了三节缺的阶段，他把对吧那就教先送给其实。
And so that, as it says in the 70 verses on going for refuge, it says, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are the refuge for seekers of liberation. And this includes really liberation and attainment of the omniscient state of enlightenment. If that's the goal, then one needs to take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And so then it gives examples of the kinds of specific qualities of a Buddha. And here, in terms of the physical qualities, it describes that a Buddha's body is adorned by 32 individual signs and 80 individual marks, which exemplify a great person. And that the Buddha's speech has 64 different qualities, elements of eloquent speech, such that every word they say is teaching the Dharma and is heard by those listening in their own language, so that they can understand it.
송 직소이나 데 년게 밑동라만 보여봐는 장랑게 가리 편도이나 디코딩이지. 그래 그래 사제 미다과 송게 여봐나 데 뒤제나 다음에 봐 되는 얘기 제바이나 다음에 봐 고통이지. 다 가자 장랑게 감다 좀 봐. 편도 유튜브 고통을 주고도. 이거다 사제 송 기주로.
And one other quality of the Buddha's speech is that it is perfectly suited to the needs of each individual listener. And so this is once very specific, because the Buddha understands exactly what is needed, what is necessary for each one who is listening. So that the Buddha might say, talk about impermanence, but for those who can understand, they will hear a teaching on selflessness. Because that's what they're ready for, and so on. And so it's not dependent upon exactly the words that the Buddha himself is using, but rather on what the needs are for the individual listeners. They will hear according to what they need to hear.
다 어떤데 다 용어로 개발네 개발대 아니 가서다 다 같이 가서다 가서다 년종다 장선다 양다배 따와라 소바 아니 어떻게 개발네 냠솔라네 와다 냠솔랑잖아 와다 들려줘 저 아니 저소 파체 또 두에 뭐고 실라 소바 개발네 봐도 냠솔랑의 총도다 아니 디 톤에 아니 저거 dim니 바자도 저 마세요. 아까다다 다 윤대 다배 윤대가 차 용서가 깨어도 아니 다들 와다되고 가서대 되게 다 윤대가 용대고 열어다.
So these qualities, they are come about, they are cultivated over eons of time, of really consistent and diligent practice. And that here that we speak of the Buddha as somebody who has not only completely purified and gotten rid of all faults, but is also being able to fully cultivate and perfect all good qualities as well. And through from eon to eon, practicing renunciation, developing the correct view of emptiness, practicing on that, and developing the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, and through also their practice of the 6 perfections and the 4 ways of accumulating disciples, etc., that they perfect all of these individual qualities.
당 알아서 다 레당보래 얘는 저 누가 가야 되겠다 다 되네 저기 야 저기 가서도 년중가 셈 좀만 해봐 깨도도 아니 좀만 해봐 깨온도 아니 가서도 사람스가 톱도 와 톱도 되네 다 저기 자주가 셈다 자주가 셈 좀만 되게 그 깨온도 사람스가 톱도 다 되네 사람네 아니 졸람들 뒤에 좀 뭐서 춘초스 아니 되네 돈이 것도 또저도 토람스 탑도 아니 사탕보 레저도 돈이 것도 또도 사탕보 레온도 아니 키지지라 아니 랑길루 자투투게 자투지도 투투게 산제의 신민자와 잘라 쪼투게 뒤지지라 아니 뒤지지라 산제 신민자와 잘라 아니 뒤지지라 최년 투게 랑그 파에 뒤지지라 최대도 되게 니바이보다 다 되나 산니발레한테 아니 똥 뒤치가 똥 아니 되나 이래 다 자자자자자자는 사주바 아니 되나 산제도 아니 베다 투가자로 꾸이 잡대 꾸가자로 투가 잡대 그제 보다 되게 요한테 그러니까 유메게면 요마 빠뜨데 저 요산에 요 차차사와 중앙도 아니 제보도 차차와 중앙도 준 거야 봐 가서는 제보 규제도 저도 지금 요가 인사
So this is something that's quite difficult for us to conceive, isn't it? Like as a rank beginners and so on, and that we're at a very coarse level of comprehension, perception, understanding. But when we think about it, this is a very gradual path that is based on a solid reasoning and cause and effect. And so when the causes are accumulated, the effect will manifest. And so from here, through a practitioner who develops, say, a completely genuine sense of renunciation, and this a fully qualified sense of renunciation, that combined with the mind of enlightenment, that motivation, means they attain what's known as the path of accumulation, and that from that then they can proceed to the path of preparation, and then the path of preparation leads to when one realizes emptiness directly, the path of seeing. And through familiarizing with the path of seeing, and simultaneously with the attainment of the path of seeing, one starts on what are called the bodhisattva grounds. And there are 10 of these, and even when we reach the first of these bodhisattva grounds, we have the amazing capacity for enhancing our spiritual practice and bringing benefit to others. Such like we can emanate 100 different versions of ourselves, and they can go to 100 different Buddha realms and listen to 100 different teachings at the same time, and be of benefit in this way. And this continues to increase exponentially as we go, say, to the second bodhisattva ground, where now we can do this 1,000-fold and so on, until we attain the 10th bodhisattva ground, and finally attainment of the state of Buddhahood, of enlightenment. And that here one of the qualities of a Buddha is that wherever their body pervades, there also their mind pervades, and wherever their mind pervades, there after their body pervades. So the Buddha is can be everywhere and all places at all times. And so here this is like fantastical to our perception, but it's all based on accumulating causes, and once those particular causes are established, then the results will manifest.
And the Sanjay Goma tops of the Semjing never so Jansa Satobo Gazelle, that's a jet of the Nyamsa Kavayu. That's Sanjay Sato and Nyamja Moye. And
so that's one other facet of enlightenment is that unlike the process through the 10 bodhisattva grounds, where there is a distinction between the meditation kind of jetop nyamsha. So there's like a sense of meditative absorption, where one is abiding in the meditation on emptiness, for example, but there's also then the post meditative state, where one is viewing reality in a conventional sense. But when one attains the state of enlightenment and becomes a Buddha, there is no distinction there. There's kind of like there's kind of a non-dual state of mind where a Buddha can perceive both ultimate and conventional reality simultaneously. And so this is something that we can't conceive of in our mind. How could you do that? And also that it's said that in the state of enlightenment there are 4 distinct Buddha bodies, and without understanding the Buddha's bodies, then it's not possible to understand the state of enlightenment itself. And so that therefore when one looks into Buddhism in general, and has an understanding of, for example, the four Buddha bodies, that one will understand also the extraordinary depth of the even the teachings that are extant in the in the Tibetan tradition. And so that through because without understanding of the four Buddha bodies, then it's not effective to engage in highest yoga tantra. Oh, sorry. So and conversely, with a good understanding of the four Buddha bodies, then one can have a very effective practice of the highest yoga tantra.
Understand.
One will understand.
Yeah,
and so that all the teachings related to the hearers and the solitary realizers and the bodhisattvas and the four classes of tantra are all there still extant within the Tibetan tradition. And so without a good understanding of the four Buddha bodies, it really isn't possible to understand the state of enlightenment itself.
So it's
not possible to understand the full qualities of an enlightened being, and this is something of a very key importance. And so when we look at the teachings from the point of view of the perfection vehicle, and so the attainment of Buddhahood there is the attainment of the two bodies, the enjoyment body and the Dharma body. And so it said that the Dharmakaya or Dharma body is attained for oneself, and the enjoyment body is attained for the benefit of others. But then also there are divisions within both the enjoyment body and the attainment. The Rupakaya tang
longuda tuku sinyongurwa shenju sukudela sukudela longuda tuku nisongurwa longu ta longu de ngarazo tontoya yomare longu de ane sachuba rata sachuba ta de course janjo saba tina na sachuba janja kaza ta sanje sala totu tuja mo ta sachuba chade roda oda sachuba ta ko sachuba jansa sachuba ko ne onte yo ane che tekba chebe che bashi sugu yo 년도다 란제고 쳐수고 요마 가서 뒤자 택바 쳐보 뒤나네 장사 사토벌리 장자르와 택바 쳐보 아니 나라족에 뭐유디 두고 요 말이야 근데 이마에서 딱 나라족을 패 저도 쭉 나빠대네 근데 좀바 샤자 도바 오메라 뭐바서 와 산제네 다 쭉 나빠대네 아니 잡을래들 패어와 다 잡을래들 거기 패배 말이야 딱걸 뒤주시 거고 요와 안 대바들 아니 오메라 뭐바서 와 산제네 아니 간델라 하이보 타바 또가비 깨와셔다 점불다 뒤주 딱딱 하려고다 뒤르면 아니 런이도 두개 거라다 점불다 뒤주 딱딱 상게 좀 되대 배 뒤주 딱딱 차와서 아니 오메도 보고 가서 건다 간데네 아니 하이보 타바 또가비 깨와셔대 안디 아니 가서 하이 개비 디 아니 가서다 다지 가서다 톱단 하이 개비게 아니 디 가서다 디 다 왕자다 뉴바 딱 뉴바디게 그 지주적데 지수 장바 공부다 제네 아니 공마수 저불린 딜라 평어로다 dila chogu tugu sikara tugu napa tena peka ta tugu napa tena tona ane tuja rikjian sungbagi tekwa chenpi duyan che tugu yore nyendu ku duyan che tugu yore rangi ku duyan che tugu tekwa chenjo sungbagi duyan che tugu yorwa insan tugu sikara yorwa 롱고 sikara tekwa chenpi chio bashi mato nyaranga chio sungu yormare kasa tuja yormare omila tuja dinane 장세 사토바 장자 차대어라
And so that's in the so on the one hand, we have the enjoyment body and the truth body or the Dharmakaya, and that here, but within the truth body, sorry, the enjoyment body is only one of the two bodies known as within the form body category of the Buddha's bodies, and that the enjoyment body, yes, it's there for the benefit of others. But it's a very specifically only available to those beings on the 10th bodhisattva ground, and it only teaches the Mahayana vehicle teachings. And that so this is very exclusive in its kind of realm of activities, and that. And because of that, then there's another of form body, and this is known as the emanation body. And so, for example, Shakyamuni Buddha, who came 2,600 years ago in India, is an example of the form body, and it's a specific type of form body too, known as it's an example of the emanation body, but a specific one known as the supreme emanation body. So what happens when a Buddha is ready to come and emanate as an emanation body is that they are residing in the Buddha realm known as Tushita or Ganden, and that here the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha about to come to this world and teach is like acting as like a regent of that Buddha realm. And then he will pass on the throne, as it were, to the next in line, which, as we have heard, is going to be Buddha Maitreya. And so he now resides in Tushita as the regent of that Buddha realm. And then the Buddha comes and teaches. And it's because he is a supreme emanation body. He teaches not just the Bodhisattva path or Mahayana vehicle teachings, but indeed he teaches all the three vehicles, for the hearer vehicle and the solitary realizer vehicle teachings, as well as the Bodhisattva vehicle or Mahayana vehicle teachings as well. And it all happens according to just precisely the assigned or correct time.
아니 두주데 녜제여라 다 도바차야 도바 공로 계주 계직 슈버와 공로 계주 계 엔데는 양을 대be 잡았대 말와 공로 계주 계직
Gyachik.
아니 되는 양을 대be 잡았대 말와 어디를 좀 두세 다 롱고데 코 마동보도 슈고 요래 최 대바집에 최 바시 수고 요래 코 가서데 장세 파파 샤다 코아래 어디를 더 가서데 어디를 다 간제 그 내다 배 로가 차되기도 와 그것을 그 산제 내다나 빠바지 땡고도 아니 대 나라도데 내데 아니 코아바제 저 땡보 매게지다 그 딜라 빠바 산제야 아니 군양을 대바 땡고에다 들려 좀 되기도 와
So another feature of the difference, say, between the emanation body and the enjoyment bodies, and both being the form bodies of the Buddha, is that the emanation body has the appearance of passing away, and so passing into parinirvana, as we say. So Shakyamuni Buddha gave that impression when he reached the age of as 81 and passed into parinirvana. So this is in contrast to the enjoyment bodies, which reside and stay until cyclic existence is completely ended. and that they continue to teach. They teach exclusively Mahayana, and they teach exclusively to Arya Bodhisattvas. And yes, and so that the emanation body, example Shakyamuni Buddha, is kind of like in harmony. They live in harmony with the conditions that they are in this case in cyclic existence, and so therefore giving the appearance of aging and passing into death and parinirvana.
어디서 연구도 다 되게 지도 안에 된대가 꾸시죠. 다지다 대과 첨비 중에 꾸시 원다. 파지 대과 중에 꾸시가 남사지 수고 열대. 꾸시가 남사지 수고 열대. 수고 열대. 꾸시가 남사지 수고 열대. 이나야 꾸시가 된대 톱에 그 차상와지 파지 대과나 수고 열어서 어디다 수고 요 말이야. 다들 안에 나라메 그 르베자고 열대.
So that in the perfection vehicle teachings, there is a presentation of the four Buddha bodies and teachings relating to them, but it's not clear, and probably isn't that the causes that would give rise to the four Buddha bodies are not included within the perfection vehicle teachings. And in order to attain those four bodies, one must enter into the tantric teachings, and specifically the highest yoga tantric teachings.
어디로 잡아 가서나 최고 교대 패자 참거래 딱 가봐 참거 요 말이었으나 아니 가서도 수고 교대는 아니 수고 교 요래 돼 얘나 참거 요 말이야.
So that it may be that the teachings to give rise to the bodies related to the Dharmakaya are complete in the perfection vehicle presentation, but the teachings related to the attainment of the form body, being the enjoyment body, the complete emanation body, are not included within the perfection vehicle. There are causes there, but the causes are not complete or full in that set of teachings. So that it's important to, it's necessary to know all of this sort of knowledge in order to really have a full appreciation of the qualities of a Buddha. And without that, it's difficult to understand what the full qualities of a Buddha entail or are.
아니 무엇이네 갈간사 독반매바 숨고 요래 내수 먹고지 캔데가 요래 대산제르셔서 그 추에인가 요봐.
So that it's very, very important then to understand what all these causes that could give rise to these various qualities that are assigned to an enlightened being are. And that, and we have to also analyze that. Do they make sense? Does it really follow that if I really develop this cause, will it actually look like it's going to reach? Does it make sense that it follows that it manifests as this kind of result? And that we need to therefore, look at that, analyze all this information, then gain conviction that wow, it really is possible, and it also is something extraordinary to become a Buddha, to attain that state of enlightenment. It really is something. Because without that information, there's always a danger that we will fall for fake teachers who are not fully qualified, but they might sound the part, they might look the part, they might have a lot of information and so on, but they're worldly teachers. And that we kind of sometimes really assign the label Buddha to people without having much reason for doing so, or certainly not enough knowledge to be able to make that assessment.
나라도 내 당보 와서도 지금 내주 차상 신바지 맞아 이나 아니 나라도 연대 통 되고 싶어 지금 준주를 스토스에 요바체 준주 도스에 요다 누바리 도스 나라도 도스 민자와 시던 것도 티시 우지를 샤 삼삼치 아니 무시에 가라 간사 무시에 또 동대 망보여래 너는 힘만 칸데 뭐보여 와다 근데 전에 고코네 안디 시우지를 샤 삼삼 차이 내가 열봐
And we are, as beginners, especially susceptible to, the extraordinary when we see it. Somebody shows a bit of magic, and we think, "Oh my goodness, they must be enlightened," and that or they have some sort of clairvoyance, and we think that's something really amazing. And but it's a good quality, but it's also something that many spirit beings have, clairvoyance. So in the kind of context of the contemplative traditions, it isn't such a big deal. And so, for example, even animals have a sense of, kind of extra sensory perception in many ways. Apparently, during these tsunamis, that the animals sensed what was going to happen and fled the area where the tsunami happened, whereas the humans had no idea what was coming and were caught. And so that these it's important to keep a lookout for that, and to not self-deceive in all of these ways, just by being taken in by somebody's kind of a bling quality that they might have, that they somehow do something physically very impressive or something like that. That this is not the issue here. We need to know what the causes are that bring about an enlightened being, a Buddha. And to really understand the four Buddha bodies in particular, to gain a good knowledge, a good ascertainment of what it takes to become an enlightened being.
지다와의 진입의 최탄제 지자도 모습도 또봐 다 지다와의 진입의 최탄제 아니 지자도 모습도 또 두에지 그러다 아니 제외 연대는 심지어 탐자라다 마부지라 제와다 아니 투지 가서다 투 아니 투지 챔피어서 니르메 봐 주변에 주변에서 뒤에 깝지가 미다왔다 그래서 뒤에 깨지게 봤다 뒤에 그 뒤에 중간에 깨지자자 요함에 봐 뒤에 레트웨지 디다 여대지 들 팬도 제도에지 미다 와서 til에 배주매 봐 흔지 죽지 규미체 봐 대봐 와서.
And so continuing then with the various qualities of a Buddha, the physical qualities, the qualities of a Buddha's speech, and now the mental qualities, they are specifically of great knowledge and love. And the knowledge of an enlightened being is that they have, as we have heard, that's this a simultaneous and direct perception of both conventional and ultimate reality. And that the qualities of love is that they have love similar to a mother for their only child, and this non-discriminating great compassion which it never misses a moment to instruct their disciples. And also the quality of their Buddha's skillful means, which has the facets of being effortless, spontaneous and unbroken.
다 편도 모두를 요한테 그 와다가 배출하면서 til에 배주 매번 흔적 죽지 규미 제반 대바 오서 다 최제 연대는 Sanje Yunden, Tayabada, Demba, Di, Lungda, Dobe, Chu, Kobata, Lamji Demba, Guyan Bambada, Yunden, Zhube, Dani Jiang, Wendu Jebada, Kobali, Zhonga, Wo, Nyamdo, and some Xing.
And so then also to reflect on the qualities of the Dharma. And it says the Dharma has the quality of the scriptural and realizational teachings that have come from the countless good qualities of the Buddha, and that it also has the features of the true cessation and the true paths, and also it incorporates the practices for the complete eradication of all negativities or faults, and the practice which can establish all good qualities. And it has the nature of establishing these good qualities through meditation and through direct perception.
Sheva la tseni le juya se keba ne sanja ngomba zo ke jangju be tseni che yimba chune de tebu gindu ne shenje se mengaji yang da ba be tseni che tile ne keba tile ke keba ne se riba da ko so long po ba ta ane pangja pong wala mi ba ta ngomba to ya se tile che no so.
And then the features of the Buddha, or sorry, the Sangha jewel, and that mainly this refers to Arya beings, those who have realized emptiness directly, but they are those also who are mindful of the qualities of the Dharma, and they are mindful of being able to practice the Dharma perfectly. And then there's a series of points made on the differences between the characteristics of the three jewels, or the distinctions according to the defining characteristics. For example, the Buddha's defining characteristic is that of manifest complete enlightenment, and the Dharma's defining characteristic is being the result of that manifest complete enlightenment. In other words, the teachings that have emanated from the Buddha. And the defining characteristic of the Sangha is that they are others who will engage in fully practicing the instructions of the Dharma. And then there are defining characteristics related to the enlightened activities. And one, this is really relating to the Buddha. His enlightened activities are defined in terms of transmitting the teachings of the Dharma in order, gradually. And the defining characteristic of the Dharma in terms of enlightened activities is that it has the focus on abandoning that which needs to be abandoned. And in terms of the Sangha, they have the defining characteristic of the enlightened activity of really manifesting great joy in applying the Dharma, in practicing the Dharma.
我的感觉这个可说的当的这他这个三界是个的就没见面的就嘛用把这边就忙他说他这个这边去了这边这不用有意思或者我他就点这个我就说了这不得的说他本身呢我们这边那算了起来本来年对的让给的年让你的同行来给我的年让同行来同年让年对的让给的 통화를 통화해서 통화 상계 좀 되게 최대네 안데 년도라게 통화서 좋아라 년도라게 얘랑 통화를 통 년도라게 이제 통화 상계 좀 되게 최대네 안 년도라게 좋아라 다 통화 상계 좀 되게 근데 좋아서 자주가 셈에 좋아라 자주가 셈에 인지를 좋아라 And
so these kind of details really are emphasizing the cause and effect relationship. With specific causes, it will rise these specific results or these specific effects. And as it says in the text as well, from Arya Chandakirti's entering into the middle way, he says the hearers and the solitary realizers arise from Buddhas. The Buddhas arise from the mind of enlightenment bodhicitta. And the mind of enlightenment bodhicitta arises from great compassion. He's really emphasizing compassion.
닌제 될 가서 잔주 섬대는 닌제 되는 연구도 다 닌제스가 말아서 남주 닌제다 말에 선제 탐제라 어느 저 말 지금 부지라 제베 닌제라 왔다 다 선제 탐제는 코에 동에 나설 미스베 닌제 겠네 아니 델레 타답게 아니 타외체도 안 대 타와 녜지기 인스는 녜지기 인스는 다 잔주가 셈게 아니 델레 잔주가 셈게나 사주다 지zo 파지도 도행고를 실라서 냠솔라네 다 산제 콤바토네 안다 람을 바시도 되고도 어떻게서도 어떻게.
And so he's really saying yes that the Buddhas really arise from compassion through via the mind of enlightenment, but this compassion is not like we understand it. It's really compassion which takes as its object all sentient beings, and the force of that compassion, it has a love for each and every sentient being, as it says here, like a mother has for her only child, and will do everything possible to release them from cyclic existence by taking a really strong sense of personal responsibility. I'll do it, and this knowing that to attain that I must attain the state of enlightenment, and this is called the mind of enlightenment bodhicitta, and it comes from that compassion. And then after, there's the practice of what are known as the 6 perfections and the 4 ways of accumulating disciples, and one eventually attains that state of enlightenment and then demonstrates and teaches the path. So let's leave it there for today. We do the prayer for the Lamrim. So we still have our because of the merit field, so we can't go to the prayers.
Yeah. Because the Tubasange 좀 다랑 the 집어거는 라마 동안도 있어. 랑이 닝도 빼마다 제치라 삼았다. 근데 니만 다외다. 아니 Tubasange 좀 됐다. 마 젠자네. 로 젠자네. 다가 제치. 로 가서 라마 동안도 있어. 마 젠자. 로 젠자네. 다가 제치. 다가 젠자 담부가서 답받으자라고 다른 니가 뭐가 고소 담부가서 니가 가서 소가 때도 산제 고마도 제 송송 삼자지 아니 근데 니 빼마다 제때 남주 니 내다는 이제 아니 가다 도지 제가 했는데 아니 엄마가 이오리리 엄마서 엄마가 가서 고 라라사가서 아니 엄마 얘다 뭐 이거 잡았다가 뭐 샤만에 소 때때가다 되게 아니 이제 스코어 되게 뒤나로 왜 촌네 아니 랑이 류다 차상을 왜 촌네 아니 랑이 다저 지가 소리다 지금 지코하다 개방이 소속의 동네라 소가 용역이 내년바 가려 매바 차속사는 최주백을 리대 한 대마대 되게 그가 매바 차속 선사 와다를 한 사제 고소도게 지나 말로가 좀 선사 와다를 공부시.
And so then we bring our mind to the figure of the Guru Muninja Vajradhara, our own Guru Shakyamuni, on our crown, and we start by making the invitation to come to the seat at our heart, where we have established the 8-petaled upturned lotus, moon and sun disk mandala. And so, O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And with that first recitation, the figure on our crown begins the journey down through our central channel. And then we recite it a second time, and they reach that point of the seat at our heart center. And with a third recitation, we have the sense that they are established firmly there until we attain the state of enlightenment. and then we fold over the petals of the lotus, and they enfold the figure of Guru Shakyamuni on our heart center, and that is sealed at the top by a half Vajra, and then it's further sealed with the encircling Sanskrit vowels in a clockwise direction, the Sanskrit consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination in a clockwise direction. And then immediately once that is sealed, light rays emanate from within and come out through the seal of the lotus petals, and they pervade every cell of our bodies, so that all negativities and obstacles and so on have been completely purified, and we have this feeling of a very clear body of light. And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind with acting as the principal cause or substantial cause, together with the body of the Buddha at our heart center, our own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And then through the combination of our own most subtle mind with the mind of the Buddha, our own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And we have this certainty of now our mind and body being non-dual with the mind and body of the Buddha, and that is something wonderful, and we rejoice in that. And then our own place here transforms, and all the stains from it are completely purified, and it transforms into the enlightened abode of a Buddha, or a Buddha realm. And then we send out, as a fully enlightened being, from our own heart center, rays of light equal in number to all the mother sentient beings in all the different realms of existence, and they enter in through the crowns of all those beings, purifying them of all faults, and then causing them to spontaneously arise as fully enlightened Buddhas. And then we really acknowledge how wonderful this is, that today is the day that I've been able to bring all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment and fulfill my ultimate goal. How wonderful is that? And I've really made this human life, this precious human life, really meaningful. And this is really fantastic. And all of this does not exist in the way it appears. And from that arises a sense of bliss and emptiness, and then we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness.
And today you and Jutubala and China Sansowe and the budget of the Shiva show, 20 times at Sama show, today Kuru show. What I'm watching.
And of course we know we're only acting at the level of imagination now, but we make the strong dedication that it will be made manifest really as quickly as possible. And in order to for that to happen, we really pray, please may all the obstacles and the afflictions that are preventing that from happening, may they be completely removed and eradicated, and may I have all the conducive conditions to really make it happen as quickly as possible. And then we do our prayer for the graduate part of the Monlam teaching, or the Lamrim. From my two collections, vast the space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in loving compassion for all lives unjustly. May I find the complete greatest path of the teachings. May I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this fated path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the Mighty One, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.